I think it restarted actually. I'm trying to zoom in.
Together.
Very high quality.
This is like a streamer. A streamer.
Live stream, LearnUp.
All right, so I love the new cover.
Yeah.
We added the little girl here. Okay, now this follows a lesson plan. So it's different than the organization of the other. So it starts with sounds, you know, then syllables, then concept, then, you know, et cetera. No, I mean sounds, new concept, syllables, spelling, reading. So it follows that. So we initially have a look at the board, and then we have the color system, right? That's the same. What is Tattum Reading has been added. You've had that as part of it. This is a nice, if you're talking to somebody, you want to show them what it is. So it's a simple thing. We had sounds, syllables, words, and writing. Key program procedures. So this is the stuff that you're taking somebody through an overview of the program. What are the key things? The 4-step method for vocabulary, vowel tag, vowel change, phrases.
Unknown caller.
Sentence dictation procedures, COPS, covers, so this is kind of key program things. Glossary, which we didn't have before, terms. Tattum, here's the lessons. Here we have where you can go on YouTube to watch the videos. We didn't have that before. We cut out video 4 because it's irrelevant. We now have a better look at the comprehension. Diagnostics, much more in depth. We have the starts, start 1. We have elaborate, much more elaborate for professionals to look at. So start 1, standardized test. This is what happens. Students start 1 cannot read, therefore they're scoring at the pre-primer. Those who score higher using a few sight words, pictures. The Tattum Reading Survey, it shows what happens there. It gives you an example, then the magnetic board, and then the plan and the books. So this is something all the trainers need to get real familiar with, and then we could actually talk about this. But this is much more in depth. This is the kind of thinking I go through when looking at things. Start 2, what's going on in the survey, the testing, the plan, and the books. Start 3, right? Now you've had that when you had the other version of this, right?
Yes.
So that hasn't changed. Start 4, we've for Michigan we have 4A, B, C. 4A is simply you're starting. Let's see. 4A is our family, B is diphthongs, and C, yeah, this just tells you where to start. We haven't labeled it here at LearnUp, and then choose a book. Okay. Here's the survey, your schedule, lesson plan, spelling of sounds, reading the sounds, etc. We have improved.
I was a little curious about changes to the survey and like what the meaning behind those were.
What's that now?
Like the changes that were made to the survey and why.
4A, B, C?
No, like for the survey, some of the terminology has changed.
Okay, give me an example.
Gossip is a magnet for sadness and problems. Seldom is it a kind act is different from the line that was in the previous survey.
Like, was there a reason for changing the words, or you just meant to update
No.
it?
This was done a while ago, and so I may have. All right, where's that at?
On the Tattum Reading Survey 21.
Section 3 of it.
Start 3?
Oh no. Page 21.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just some words were different from the old one, so we were curious if there was like a reason behind it, or.
Oh. Yeah, there was. God, I forgot I did this. I'm trying to find out, when we're at this level, it was pretty abstract. And I wanted to see if they had episodic memory, very concrete. I remember when I was a child, and if they can't comprehend this, okay, they obviously aren't going to comprehend the next couple. That was the thinking when I created that. That may be a problem though. Trying to target.
And for the next section, after the when I was a child, you have words such as like vouchsafe and autopsy, which seem a lot more difficult than like the original survey.
They are. And that was because a lot of the other words were easy for kids.
Oh, I think maybe the reason that you changed it is on this Tattum Reading Survey, there's 7 sections, where on the old one was 6. And maybe the changes were to know if they're 4A, 4B, 4C. Because there's a whole new section on this
Peace,
one.
reproach, contain, pursuit, easel, no, nauseous, optimistic, a lot of envy, okay. Yeah, so I added this. This was the main thing I was trying to get early on, that I could say who or what's doing what without abstract language.
That makes sense. So more for comprehension.
Yeah,
than
and
challenging.
it was, okay, and then we have the new diagnosis, 4A, 4B, 4C. So that's what caused that. Yeah, when did I do this? This was last fall, I guess. And it was partly the change to the 4A, 4B, 4C.
Yeah.
But I wanted a concrete, a very concrete episodic kind of thing here for comprehension, as part of the survey. It's pretty much the same thing if they're bombing here. Here we're dealing, of course, with the vowel team. Here we're dealing with the endings. Yeah, so, 2 reasons. One is we expanded 4. This is actually the first time I've talked about the survey. We expanded 4 for Michigan because they wanted more, they needed, like you guys have the flexibility, you know what 4 is. And so I'll say, well, let's go to the diphthong section, or let's go to our family, or, when I go to the diphthong book, well, here it's more specific. It's 4A, there's start 4A, 4B, 4C, so that's part of it. And that way, if they bomb at 4A, okay, we go to the Walker book or whatever. So I was met. And the other one was the episodic memory. Those were the 2 main things I was looking for. Good question.
Cool. Thank you.
Often with the survey, I don't know about you guys, but the meat of the survey hasn't changed, which is these first 4 sections. That hasn't changed. Now this one, our family, I see. Well, this is actually a good idea.
Good job.
The 21 is really just our family, it's not a mixture. And then we have diphthongs, it's not a mixture. And then we have reds and vowel teams, it's a mixture of vowel teams. And then we have endings. So each one is very specific, whereas before I kind of merged them together. That's the idea.
Okay.
So now you're pretty specific. If they're breaking down at 21 to 25, they're having trouble with the R family and they're at 4.
Or 4A.
4A. Yeah, okay, this is great. I don't say so myself. I like this. I especially like the episodic memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just haven't used it with anybody. I made it for Michigan, and George has been working with that with them. But yeah, this is something requested by Michigan for me. But I like it. I like it. I think it adds to it. The lesson plan. All right, pacing your lesson. Notice I put phonemic awareness as needed up there. And then we have the essentials overview. You have that in your plan, the essentials? Okay. The lesson planner we've added include phonemic awareness at the top. You see that? No, I'm not sure if yours has that. Do you have the lesson plan?
We have the lesson
Lesson
planner.
plan key.
It's on the next page.
Yeah,
Go ahead, go to the next page.
just says the lesson plan key.
No,
So
we went over that one on the next page. He's on.
Oh.
Okay? So you don't have this one?
We do.
Okay, good. And I just put include phonemic awareness. Again, I now understand why that's important at the auditory stage, because it's dealing purely with Heschel's gyrus, which is the auditory receiving area. Now, Broca relies on Heschel's gyrus in order to be able to do step tracking. That's reliant on that. Why it took that long for this to dawn on me, I don't know. But again, I was in a fog. All right, this is all the same. We have the sounds.
Oh, sorry. Do you have a recommendation of how long you would spend on that at the start of a
1
lesson?
minute
1 minute.
for your
Super-
lesson, just
super
1 minute.
quick.
That's the recommendation
Okay.
of Kilpatrick, is 1 minute. That's why it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But if the child's having trouble, that's your key. Spend a little more time on it.
Mm-hmm.
Tic-tac-toe, we have advanced phonemic awareness. Do you have advanced phonemic manipulation? I gave a handout, but I don't think you guys have
It's
it.
not in the lesson book.
All right, this is for smart people, which is you guys and the group. He has a whole list of words, for that. And what I'm saying is this. When you're doing the first letter deletion, brush, don't say but, great, don't say good. Okay. Once you've done that, when you go to their book in your vocabulary, you just use the words from the book before you even go there. So if I'm doing the fog, I'll say fog, don't say fog. Ralph, don't say elf. Grass, don't say I just use the words. In other words, you got to think. And then if you're at the middle of it, like grass, don't, instead of say air. Chris. Rough, instead of say rough. That kind of thing.
So going from like the initial
And
sound.
it gives you a sequence. Once they're good at this, you go to that. Once they're good at that, you go to this. Good means they're doing it quickly. So it gives you a sequence. Does that make sense? That's understandable. So rather than giving a list of 50 different things, which they have books to do that, I'm just going, we need smart people that can just do this. All right, so that's added. Pre-boot camp lesson plans are here. That hasn't changed. Then boot camp, start 1. George added that little thing in there, which I like.
little red.
Yeah, you like that? I do too. 5 guiding principles, do you have that? Diagnostic beginning, minimize teacher talk, follow the complete schedule, fast-paced lesson, make sessions as intense as possible. Those are the 5 guiding principles that always guided this, that I had in the manual, that I decided should go here because many people are just using this. But that you could actually do an hour workshop on this, or an hour and a half.
And we do have a copy of that in the manual.
This is
Yeah.
what you got. You're going to get in the
Okay,
new lessons
cool.
book, and you're going to get a copy of this. So, again, that's something you can't pass on because. All right, then the traps, the wrong start in the program, teaching only part of the schedule. Teachers talking too much, too slow play. This is a really powerful page. Like I said, you could do an entire, somebody says, well, tell us your principles of your reading. Bam, there it is. Okay? All right, concept 1. Now, I tell teachers, notice George puts important here too. I tell teachers to highlight the words you're going to use in the new concept. So you don't have to go looking for it. Well, George just chose, I would have teachers do it. George just chose to do it.
Nice.
So that when you're doing your new concept, you can go to the key parts of it. They're yellow marked.
Yeah, I like that. That was helpful with the salon tutors.
Pardon me?
Learning training.
Yeah. Now the key thing with it, well, you won't be doing this anyway, but if you do it in PDF, it doesn't show that way, unless you do Adobe. If you do a regular PDF, it'll show yellow blocks all around.
Oh, okay.
It's strange. But again, this will be something that's going to last us a while. We've always had the suffix words, right? But I like this. Hop, hop, go to ing, hopping. So you've got keywords there. All right, so that you have, right? We put the sun in 2 places, I believe. We put it at concept 7 anyway, right there, so you don't have to go look for it.
Nice.
Then we have start 3A, 3B, next. 3A is just tag, 3B is tag and change. All right, so this is the same.
Quick question.
Yeah.
When you say 3B tag and change, so if I had a student that's like 3B, I would teach both vowel tag and change.
Yeah, and I've come with kind of a kinky thing with that, so hold that.
Okay.
There's a quick way to do it. If somebody's at that level, we don't have to be quite as formal.
Right.
So I'll get into that.
And you would still do the open, close, silent E as well?
Yeah, well, yeah, you do the open, close, silent E, then tag and change.
In the same day?
Depends how sharp the kid is. Could be 2 days, you know, it could be 3, or it could be bam.
Right.
I've had kids I could do tag and change like that.
Right.
All I have to do is say, well, it could be latex or latex. Do you see how that is? Oh, I got it. So what's the next one? Oh, it could be rodent or rodent. Which one is it? They get it. See what I mean? I said that's called tag and change. You can do that quickly or slowly. You all know the long vowel changes. Here's the sight words. Okay. So we'll get through this. This is all. What is this? Oh, review the following words that utilize. Okay, so for concept 24, we backed off the roots because you don't have time in tutoring to go in depth in the roots. You just don't have time. What I've done is did concept 21, we're only focusing on the first group of endings up through like the first line of endings. If you look, give me your board.
Oh, yeah.
You're dealing with this. And then 24, we're getting into more advanced. So what I've done is I've pulled out 24 words, like if you're at 8, equate, debate, create, donate, finish. So you can practice, if you're at area, it has the key words you can use. And I looked under the key words for those endings. And then the key words already were there for 9D. Out of the 1,000 most frequent words, I pulled out the suffix, the endings word at 9D. And so we make a focus, and we say that in the lessons book. That's it. Yeah.
By the way, Steve, it is sliding through all your photos if you want to look at your computer.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
It's
George's.
really cute, but I didn't know if you wanted to know.
Oh, nice. Is that a wedding?
That's George.
Oh,
Oh my
That's his fiance, that's his wedding.
Cute.
That's his wife. She's pregnant.
Oh,
Aw,
It's gonna be due in October.
Wow,
Is
congratulations.
this your first grandchild?
Yeah.
Aw.
Oh, cute.
I love
Where was
Yeah.
this?
This is in Laguna Beach.
Oh, I love Laguna
Oh,
Beach.
so pretty.
Oh, why is it doing that?
You're gonna, if you unplug your computer, like on the side, on the
This
left.
one here?
Yeah, it'll stop it.
No. Nice little peek.
Okay, this is the pronunciation. All right, let's go to 24 again. I think we needed to have something there, but let's see. 24. Make sure you incorporate back in your lesson plans twice a week, depending on students' age, down in a group. We are expecting it to group 1 and 3. Concept 24, okay. Depending on students' age ability, we expect you to have introduced the prefixes, roots, and endings from group 1 to 3. That's what you do at concept 9. In concept 24, we focus on groups 4 and 5, which is here. So 1 to 3 is focused on in concept 9D.
So if we had an advanced student, we will only
Don't-
teach 1 to 3.
If they're advanced, you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
You can go the whole thing, but I'm thinking for the most frequent words, we're hitting the endings that use the most frequent words in 9D. So that's really this first list, really up to like here. And then this, we do at concept 24 more in depth, and that's why I added those words. Okay.
So does that mean that for, say, like a start 2 stand, we're also teaching 90 and teaching those back of board sounds?
It would start to?
Yeah.
Well, when you're at 9D, you are.
Okay.
If you're a high school student or junior high, you start with the board. General rule to win them over. That's been proven time and time again. What is this, phonics again? Actually, let me introduce you to endings used in college words. Whatever grade the kid is, I always just raise it up. Junior high, high school words, high school, college, whatever it is, doesn't matter. All right, so then we have the nonsense words, right? We did add something which we left out. Wait a minute. Just before concept. For some reason, I did not have vowel tag concept 8 in these nonsense words, so I added that. Otherwise, that's the same. Sight words. I have the procedure start with list 1A, If they can read them, continue to 1B, and then you do the game. So you go to my list of sight words, and if they can do 1A, you can go to 1B, and I'll show you them. Reading and spelling sight words, double tap. So for the sight word procedure, if a child doesn't know a sight word, say the sight word said, and the student taps out the sounds, not the letter names. So the student would tap like said, while saying the sound, and tap again and say and Then the teacher shows the sight word, and the student says the sounds as the student taps each sound of the words. For example, the word said, the teacher points to child would say the sounds. Student would then point to the hard part of the word, and then you go back to sight word. So it's a quick version of this phonemic awareness. So if I got a sight word, here we go, and they don't know you, I would say, look at me, let's tap out you. Good. Now let's look at it. You. What's the hard part? Right here. Let's go ahead and read it. You. Short and sweet. Okay. Now in spelling, we go a step further. when we use the spelling words that they have trouble with at the bottom of the lessons book, we'd approach it that way, where we'd show the word, we'd tap it out and show the word, and then we'd have the kid draw lines for it and then put each sound above it. And that's mentioned here in the,
Is that called the T3 technique?
it is, but I simplified it to the double tap plus. So in the double tap plus, teacher says the word, student taps it out. In other words, all these crazy things I've done, I've kind of packaged it together, because all those things were as I was growing, but I was a slug, I wasn't putting it together. It just took a new brain cell to get this going. Teacher says the word, tap, so if I show them the word laugh, they go, oh, F. Teacher shows the word, oh, F. What's the hard part? We pointed out. Student then draws lines, oh, F. Student copies the words on the line, saying the names of the letters. That's new.
And that's just for the spelling.
For the sight word spelling, saying the names of the letters. Now, what happened, I was so obsessed about doing sounds first that I said back off the names. However, by this point, if the kid's reading, all kids are taught letter names. We just don't, we focus on sounds. But at this point, just in re-looking at the literature and the research, I just said, yeah, we need it to sight word say the letter names. That make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so here's the list. So before you go to game 1A, you practice the 1A words. Then do 1B. So here's your list, and then you can go to the game. Now for the middle high school, here's fog, sock, hop, sight words. Go ship, raft trip, so you can practice here. Time tunnel, it's a Martian raptor. There's the sight words. What do you think of that addition?
I like the division of the reading and spelling for
Okay,
sight words.
got
I
it.
think that's helpful. For the spelling, do you still do the like repeated writing? There was a time where you introduced like you
Yeah.
write it 3 times.
Copy, right,
Yeah.
right, that's homework or seat work. I think I mentioned that. I do. Seat work, if need be, they trace the word they've copied, they copy the word and then cover it with their hand and write it from memory. Now you can do that multiple times. This is useful seat work.
Okay.
That's mentioned right here.
Would you ever do that in just like a one-on-one session as well?
You know, Terry, this is where one uses their judgment. They need more practice
Yeah.
than you do it.
Yeah.
Again, what I was trying to do, I realize these things take time and we have a time-limited program. So that's why with the sight words, I didn't go into writing in that. I just have it theft. All right, let's look at theft. What's the hard part? Good. Now let's read it. Okay, short and sweet. All right. Comprehension and fluency. Now the comprehension is much improved. It's kind of pulled together. And this might be our second set. Remember I said that I want 2 sessions? Hour and a half session.
Yes. Yeah. Our next meeting as a group.
What's that?
You gotta schedule it still.
Okay. Well, the comprehension is greatly improved in terms of its organization, in terms of my thinking, because I've done so much stuff to comprehension, and I'm going back and forth, what's perfect, what's not perfect, how does this fit with the research? Finally I said, screw it. From my experience, what works?
Yeah.
And what I found is what works for kids is the W's done a very specific way. So the who is the who did what. That's the kernel of it. If a kid can do the who did what, they can comprehend. So notice I don't have the did what under what, which I did before. That's confusing. It's still talking about the who. Who did what? Who did what? Who or what did what, you could say. All right. Then where and when. These are all pointing ones. You can point to the who did what. And a kid who's having trouble, that's what you do. Point to the who, point to what he did, point to where he did it, point to when. Okay, the what you can also point to. What do you think will happen next? The student can point to what, a flying saucer is going to kill everyone. Okay, point to anything that suggests a flying saucer. Well, there isn't anything. Obviously, that's not going to happen next. Oh, the dog will get lost. Well, point to it. Well, he ran into the woods. Okay, now you can predict that. See? And then what do you picture? The picturing does improve comprehension, but there is a problem. 15% of kids cannot picture. Just can't. I don't picture. I think the thoughts. I mean, I have to force myself to picture a lot. But I primarily read technical stuff. But that's the basic W's. And with the picturing, if your child has trouble, you just go to a picture of the book, look at it, and basically you can do the W's with it. Who or what do you see? Where's this at? When is it occurring? What do you think's happening? What do you think will happen next? Okay. And then close your eyes and describe it. Okay, there's a boy, there's a girl. The boy has long hair, the girl has short hair. They're running on the beach. It's during the day, it's sunny. They're at a beach, there's water, sand. It's occurring at noon, I think. All right, etc. Now, the why question. The why question is great, especially with a class. And it's, they formulate the why question and they answer it. Your cognitive kids will love this. And if, by the way, if they have the first areas covered, I'm primarily working the why and wonder question. Why, they might say, well, why did they go into the cave knowing the raptor's there? Now you answer it. Because this thing was so dangerous, they were willing to risk their life. Great answer. 15% comprehension raise if you can do that. So this is a higher level. And then the wonder question is just getting the kid to think about the story. Well, I wonder, students generally comment about anything, but I wonder why this, I wonder about this, I wonder about the author, why did the author do this, I wonder about that. I'm wondering about the characters, their feelings, etc. I'm wondering if this action was effective or not effective. So again, kids who nail the literal finger stuff, you can focus on why and wonder. Then, for older kids, you can put more focus on level 3, but you're still, the why and wonder are still game for them. But you might be now thinking of the wave, introduction, rising action, conclusion, and you have your basic gist, somebody somewhere did something because. That's kind of the W's. And somebody somewhere did something because the effects were, the problems were, the solutions were. It's getting them more into problem thinking than the initial. All right, we'll pause there. And then you might, we got a cool picture of the wave we added. I don't think you
I
had it.
like that.
We do have it on
It's
the
helpful.
It's cool.
Yeah,
We have the signal words. I don't know if you had that.
I think we
We
do.
have that.
Okay. Advanced words, levels of literacy, beat the clock. All right. 1 second before we close. I'll just show you some of the cool things.
Ooh, a box.
So, this is what Ocean Fun looks like now.
Nice. Printed.
Mad Cat,
Very cool.
Whoa.
Joy.
We need
We're much
these,
more
you guys.
multicultural.
Yeah,
That's
these are
another
cool.
improvement
They
we
look
made.
really good.
Nice.
Now, we removed these pictures. I'll show you when I'm there next because I'll have it. We removed the pictures that were drawn. Oh, this shows it.
Oh,
And
nice.
put black and white in the, so stars.
Very cool.
Oh, I didn't know we did that. This is cool. Let me see. Let's go to one of my favorite lightning women.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that cool?
Very
Like I said, this
cool.
doesn't look kiddish anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a fourth grader, I just show them the covers of the books
Yeah.
and say, hey, this is not kid stuff anymore. That's cool where she stops the kid.
Yeah.
Isn't that neat?
It is. Yeah.
So-
I like how the back is a different picture too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so the pictures are all, for the book, we put in black and white pictures throughout.
Very nice. Very fancy.
And then we have Bear Cub. This is totally changed inside. Now the
Okay.
whole thing is a complete picture with text, more bubbles. It's much better.
Ooh.
Can I hold one of them?
Was it? Sure.
They do look like they have a different feel.
Yeah, like
They what?
They look like they have a different feel.
Yeah,
Wow.
like Ghost Ship,
Very cool.
Very nice.
French Quarter Phantom.
Yeah, they look like books I would like have actually read.
Oh,
Yeah.
wraparound.
Martian Raptor,
Very cool.
Yeah.
LA Raptor. Okay, then we have, that's it.
Oh, the kids would love the photos.
does. It looks like a magazine or something.
Oh, this is a fun one. Sock top. Now, we went multicultural, we went all kinds of things, and my wife said the sock top was done in the 50s. It was a lot of sock top, and there was tend to be more white people there. So this is one, we chose not to do the multicultural as much with this one. But we went back and forth. We had multicultural. So we always did a lot of thought about Raft Trip. I love this cover.
Yeah,
I love the back.
It's Steve right now.
The next
Wait,
one,
so these are different. These.
they're totally different.
Okay.
Cool.
Totally different. Tripped up, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beach resort
See?
Romance.
and a shark.
Did you
The
add
way
like
out.
summaries to the end of some of the books?
Oh yeah, we have a summary of the book.
Oh.
All the books
Oh, that's awesome.
have little summaries of them. Oh, and by the way, Moonlight, Sunlight, Chronicles of Yore, and we're now working on Tales of Mystery. All have chapters summarized in a paragraph. If the kid's moving fast, you can summarize with the pictures and move chapters to move the kid through it quicker. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We have that
You
because
mean
he's
like instead of reading the chapter?
yeah,
you can
and
just
in other
read
words,
the
if they're
summary?
doing real well in
And
Voyage,
they can move forward.
I love the
Nice.
Voyage covers.
I like that.
Cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is really cool.
Lighthouse Ghost. And then the back cover. Isn't that cool?
Oh, there we go.
Look how hidden.
Oh, this is my favorite. Now, in Denver, we had this inner city class that gained 4 grade levels, second graders. Their favorite book in Tales of Adventure, what do you think it was?
Was it?
Mad Dash.
I was gonna guess the one.
Look at that.
Oh.
Isn't that perfect?
Oh, nice.
Kid runs on the desk. I couldn't believe we found that
AI.
picture.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then the back. But yeah, that, I could not believe we found that picture. Oh, and this is cool. The rocks
Oh,
There they
wow.
are.
in the back, isn't that neat?
That is really cool.
And then we got
Very professional.
Skyrock.
Wow.
Cool.
Like I said, these
I like want to read
It's
these.
nice.
long ball to left field, you know, that neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all coming along.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Exciting.
All right, so we'll set a time. We can do that up now if you want.
Yeah. It's generally is like 11 to 12:30 a good time for you?
Yeah, it's perfect. Now, I'll tell you what. Let me leave this stuff here
Oh,
for our
okay.
next meeting.
Wonderful.
And
Do
you
you
can
mind
kind
if
of
we?
peruse through it,
Yeah, go through them a bit.
look at it.
Awesome. Might we be able to get a sample of the newest lessons book for our next meeting?
Excuse me?
Might we be able to get a sample
I think
of the
so.
newest lessons
I
book?
think we've printed them. I think they're, George has it. As soon as he gets it, yeah, I'll bring
Sorry.
it.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be really helpful. Great.
And I think that's something Steve would just purchase rather than the digital. But if you want the digital, that'll be fine.
Okay, yeah, I mean the digital, it might be helpful to have a digital copy as well. Yeah, I think that would be
Yeah.
awesome.
But you might want a printed version.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, we'll definitely talk about that for sure.
Uh,
He got one of
and
those
then the new
maps
boards,
so he
I-
could show his little wave.
New boards are cool. I'd
Yeah,
consider
we
that.
looked at
I
those
see
on
the
the
new boards.
website as well. Is there a,
Should I
a
stop
new
this?
board? Yes, you should, thank you. I don't know what's going on.
So we got my slideshow.